Welcome back. For this next part of the thing, you're going to want to head over to the chained rule section of the tab. For this next part, it's a little bit of a complicated thing that we're going to have to want to do. In the chained rule, you basically want to have it so that you have two functions working together in a composite function. For those who don't remember, a composite function is when you have one function in another function. So if you had, for example, if you had cosine squared, cosine of x, that whole thing squared. That's a composite function. Where the big function is the fact that this whole thing is being squared, while the small function is that there's cosine inside of that whole thing being squared. I have given you on this homepage a bunch of special derivatives that you'll be seeing more of as we do more chain rule problems later on down the line for your homeworks and some other future assignments. You will eventually need these. If wanted, I can print some of these out for you. If you don't need that, then that's fine as well. Now, for this next part of the activity, what you're actually going to be doing for me is you're going to be going to edpuzzle.com. And while you're on Edpuzzle, you're going to sign into an account or create an account for those who haven't used this before. And when you go to this, you're going to go to My Content and you're going to create a new content, adding content. I have started making something already, so I'm going to go back here and edit this. This is a chain rule introduction. What you're going to want to do is you're going to add, when you add content, you're just going to want to paste a URL of a YouTube video up here. Like I'm just going to paste this one because it's the one I'm working on right now. And it will pull up the video that you're going to want to edit and do so. This is a really neat tool to make it so that you can, for me specifically, to make it so I can implement questions for you to watch videos. I've used it before for some of your lessons, you know this. But this was going to be the reverse. You're going to make a lesson and you're going to pull any YouTube video that involves the chain rule. It can be a long video, it can be a short video. If it's a long video, we have a nice tool that will allow us to add cuts. Meaning that if I scroll over to here and I see that at this part in particular where he's talking, he seems to be like lagging a bit and tends to like speak too much. So I'll add a cut here. And here I can just move this along, figure out the spot that I want it. That seems about right. I'll just say that for now. And I'll do one over here as well. This way, when you play back the video, and then it'll cut that entire part of the video out. And then if you want to fine tune it, you can, so that it's a little bit better for like a clear cut in a way, where you just skip out all that little few seconds of him not talking. Or talking about an explanation that you think I may not need or you don't need in your part of your thing. Once you do that, another cool, interesting thing you can do about this is you can go here to add a question. In here, at any point in time, you can pick a multiple choice, an open-ended, or a no. With multiple choice, you can take this point in time. Let's say I want to put a question here while we're talking about d of x of sine of x. Then I'll just type a question, type your question in. What is the derivative of sine x? And then you type a few answers. So I'd say sine x or cosine x. Now neither of those are right, so they both would be marked wrong. And then you can add another choice and then do negative cosine x. If none of those were all wrong, you can keep adding more until you get the right answer. The right answer actually would be cosine of x right here, because the derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, based off the thing I showed you earlier. Then once you do that, you just save the question, and it's marked right there, and it'll pop up, which is the correct answer. You type the correct answer, and you continue on. Now, for certain parts of this, if you were to make your own video, you could use a voiceover feature. And if you make a video using the chain rule of your own self, you can implement your voice to record over some parts of the video if it's just a purely auditorial video. And then you can just implement it here onto Edpuzzle and then have the questions tied with that voiceover as well as you explain parts of your video. Another cool thing you can do is just add a simple note where when you get to this part specifically, we're going to say, remember to look back at the 2x. That way, when you get to this part, it will tell you a quick note to keep going, and you'll have a situation of being, so in case you forgot something like, oh, I took derivative of sine of x, that's cosine of x, and now I have cosine of x squared. You forgot to do the you forgot to do the power rule when it came to the actual bigger function of the squared part. So then you have to remind yourself to remember to look at that part. So that's a few ways if you can use Edpuzzle using the voiceover. I would recommend doing that if you choose to like record your own video with your own work in handwriting. But if you just want to use a, a video of already on YouTube, or if you chose really, you can even try and find your own video through Edpuzzle and just type in chain rule and see whatever comes up. If nothing does come up, then you're gonna want to search YouTube for it because I even don't know if it comes up. Look at that, a few things come up, and then you can use these if you wish to. I would prefer looking on YouTube, but you can use one or two of these, but cut it down and edit it as well. And then you just add it and then send it to me. Then when you come back to this, you can go ahead and share the preview. And you can do this, you can just copy this link, and if you share it with me, I'll be able to view what you have. Just make sure you copy that link and just email it to me. This is a way that I'm capable of watching the videos that you are making with the time and effort that you do. This will be the last activity that you'll be doing for this before we take our quiz and try maybe another thing in a little bit that I'll get back to you on later.